ॐ दक्षिणस्य समारम्भा शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमा अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्ता स्मर्या गुरुपरम्परा श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। परिज्ञानाश्रम श्रीगुरुशङ्कर परिज्ञानाश्रम शङ्कर सद्गुरु केशववामन कृष्ण पाण्डुरङ्ग आनन्द परिज्ञान गुरु सद्यो जात शङ्कर सद्गुरु गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति. So we are just seeing a few shlokas of the Purva Bhaga of Vishnusahasranama Stotram. As I said, there are a number of about 30 plus verses in the Purva Bhaga. Purva Bhaga means the very first part, which is talking about the introduction to the Vishnu Sahasranama Stotram. The second part is the Stotra Bhaga, where the actual Vishnu Sahasranama Stotra happens. And then we have a third section also, which talks about the phalam of this Vishnu Sahasranama Parayana. And all the shlokas of the Purva Bhaga are chanted by those who are doing a regular ritual of Parayana, where all the verses are chanted, and they are doing the nyasa, they are doing the dhyana shlokas and everything as a preparatory step to the Parayana, which is taken as one of the karmas and upasanas, Nama Parayana. For that, this Purva Bhaga, as an offering of puja, the Purva Bhaga is completely chanted. But as I told you, we are not now going for the Vishnu Sahasranama Parayana. We are going for the Vishnu Sahasranama Stotra Vichara, where each and every name, what it means, how whatever we have studied so far in Vedanta, how each name points to that Lord Vishnu who is nothing but Brahman represented in the form of Vishnu. Brahman, that Nitya Shuddha Buddha Mukta Atma, represented in a manifest form for the sake of an upasaka as an alambanam, for the sake of seeing the whole universe as nothing but the manifestation of this Brahman, this Ishvara, which is going to ultimately give me the mumukshu, the chitta shuddhi and chitta naishchalyam, the preparedness of the mind to go into Vedanta Vichara. And let me tell you, all the names that are given in the Sahasranama Stotra, 1008 names, are nothing but talking about the essential Swarupam of Vishnu, Lord Vishnu, as Brahman itself, as Brahman or Ishvara. The very Swarupam, Brahma Swarupam is being talked about. And now what did we see? From the time Yudhishthira asked this question as to what is that Lord, what is that deity, remembering whom, worshipping whom, chanting whose names, it is going to give me the ultimate freedom from samsara. These were the questions asked by Yudhishthira to Bhishma. So here Bhishma happens to be the Acharya, Yudhishthira happens to be the Shishya. And Bhishmacharya gave an introduction in about 11 verses as to what he's going to talk about. And we saw that all these 10 verses which we have so far talked about deal with nothing other than the Brahma Swarupam. This Ishvara or Brahma is manifest or talked about with a particular form as Vishnu. That is what it is. So when Bhishma is telling, what is it that I'm going to give you in the form of 1008 names, is nothing but this Brahman itself. The Brahma Swarupam or the Atma Swarupam of Lord Vishnu itself has been explained, which we saw in the last two sessions, where we saw how Bhishmacharya is talking about that deity which is nothing but Brahma Swarupa, that which is nothing but having this Brahma Swarupa. And in the 18th verse of the Purva Bhaga, the Acharya, Bhishmacharya, is going to wind up and say ultimately what is it that is going to come. So, this is an introduction. Why are we limiting ourselves to only these 18 verses, 6 to 18 verses? Why are we limiting ourselves? Because these verses, these 11, total 11 or 12 verses, are talking about what is to come. What is it that we are going to see? What is it that we are going to chant in the name of Vishnu Sahasranam? And that is the introduction that is given by Bhishmacharya, the Acharya, the teacher, to his Shishya, that is the Pandava Yudhishthira. And we saw in the last 9 or 10 verses, it is nothing other than Atma Swarupam. He does not name that deity as Vishnu yet, but he talks about, I'm going to talk about that deity who is Nitya Shuddha Buddha Mukta Swarupa, that deity which is the Srishti Sthiti Laya Karana Bhuta. And all these descriptions which we have seen is nothing but the description of the Swarupa Lakshanani of Atman Brahma itself. So the last verse, the 18th verse of the Purva Bhaga, Bhishmacharya sums up ultimately what he's going to talk about. And the 18th verse says, यानि नामानि गौणानि विख्यातानि महात्मनः ऋषिभिः परिगीतानि तानि वक्ष्यामि भूतये. Hey Yudhishthira, भूतये for prosperity. Bhutaye means for prosperity, all round prosperity. You ask me, what is it that ultimately gives me the prosperity? Prosperity can be a material prosperity. Prosperity can be the ultimate, the ultimate auspiciousness or the ultimate prosperity, which is nothing but moksha. That is the highest resource. That is the highest thing. The Vidya, Brahma Vidya is the highest prosperity that I can, as a human being, go after. So he says, Bhutaye, that is for prosperity, all round prosperity, and also for the ultimate prosperity. That means those who are looking for material prosperity also benefit by chanting this Sahasranama. Those who are wanting the ultimate prosperity of moksha also are going to get the blessings of Lord Vishnu, makes them prepared for this ultimate knowledge of Brahmajnana. So Bhutaye, for all round prosperity, he said, Vakshyami, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to talk to you, I'm going to give you what? Namani, those names. I'm going to give you those 1,000 names. Yani Namani Gaunani. That is those names which are going to talk about the various lakshanas, the Swarupa Lakshana, as well as the various physical lakshanas, also the lakshanas of all the manifest forms of Vishnu, All these Gaunani means those who talk about the Ananta Kalyana gunas of this Lord Vishnu. Yani Namani Gaunani Vikhyatani, those names which are very, very well known and famous, which are talking about the Ananta Kalyana Gunas of Ishvara in the form of Lord Vishnu, Mahatmanaha of Ishvara in the form of that Vishnu. That Ishvara's or Lord Vishnu's 1,000 names, which are very well known and which talk about all the vibhutis of this Lord, all the vibhutis of Ishvara in the form of these 1,000 names, in the form of Lord Vishnu, addressing Ishvara in the form of Lord Vishnu. These are the names which are going to get you the ultimate prosperity. And what are these names? Rishibhihi Parigitani. Rishibhihi Parigitani. That means what? These are sung. Gitani means sung or chanted by all the rishis. That means these are the names of Lord Vishnu which are talked about in all our scriptures, in the Shruti, in the Smriti, and also in the Puranas. All our scriptures describe the names of these, but Vishnu Sahasranama specifically comes in the Mahabharatam. And in Mahabharata, we get this, in that particular Anushasana Parva, where it is a teaching given by Acharya Bhishma to his Shishya Pandava Yudhishthira. So, with this, here, Bhagwan, actually, not Bhagwan, I mean, Bhishmacharya is summarizing what is going to come about. And then we have those who perform this parayana as a yajna or as a specific karma. Then they do the nyasa, various nyasas. They do the karanyasa, anganyasa, where Lord Vishnu is invoked upon various parts of the body. We are not going to go through this because this is not something which we can which is really relevant to our study now. But those who are taking up the Vishnu Sahasranama Parayana as a serious discipline, as a serious upasana and karma, they go through this entire Purva Bhaga and do all these things, Nyasa, etc. And also, we have multiple Dhyana shlokas also. Before we chant the name of the Lord, we have the Dhyana shlokas. Why? Because in Dhyana shlokas, we visualize the form of the Lord and see this form of the Lord as the entire universe. We see this form of the Lord like Bhagwan Krishna gave his Vishwarupa Darshana, where Arjuna, Bhishmacharya, and Sanjaya, they saw Bhagwan Krishna as the entire universe. Bhagwan Krishna is nothing but the entire universe. Similarly, here with Dhyana Shloka, what do? When we are not able to see Ishvara as the whole universe in a manifest form, what we do is we try to superimpose, we try to project a form, a name, so that this projected form can become an alambana for us to connect to that Lord. Supposing I want to chant Vishnu Sahasranama, I have to visualize a Vishnu as described in the Puranas, as described in the Smritis, as to how that Vishnu looks. Various descriptions of Lord Vishnu are given. Vishnu lying down on in the Kshira Sagara on Ananta Shayana is talked about. Vishnu is also talked about as Shankha Chakra Gada, Padma has in the four hands. Vishnu also is talked about in various forms as his avatars. So, but Lord Vishnu can be visualized as to hold on, to behold that form in front of my eyes before I start chanting the name. Of course, later on, when I see that the whole universe is nothing but Lord Vishnu's manifestation, In every atom of the universe, there is nothing but Lord Vishnu in the form of Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. Then I don't need this form. But initially, as I'm not prepared, as my intellect is not, you know, sort of, sufficient enough, not subtle enough, not expanded enough to understand Lord Vishnu or Ishvara as the entire universe, to prepare this mind, I have to project, I have to see Lord Vishnu with a particular form. And creating this particular form in my mind is done by the dhyana shlokas. There are quite a number of dhyana shlokas here in the Purva Bhaga, but we can take up one dhyana shloka, which we are going to use in every session before we start the session when we go to the Sahasranama Stotra Vichara also. And that is a dhyana shloka which is very, very commonly chanted and which we all are aware of. And that is Shantakaram Bhujagashayanam Padmanabham Suresham Vishwadharam Gaganasadrisham Meghavarnam Shubhangam Lakshmikantam Kamalanayanam Yogi Hridhyanagamyam Vande Vishnum Bhavabhayaharam Sarvalokaikanaatham. Vande Vishnum. I salute, I offer my namaskaras, or I bow down to that Vishnu. And what kind of a Vishnu is this that I'm going to bow down? Because I'm going to chant his Sahasranamas and I'm going to visualize this Vishnu. What kind of a Vishnu is this? Shantakaram. Vishnu, whose very form, whose very figure is an embodiment of peace and calm. Shantakaram. Bhujagashayanam. This Vishnu who is lying down having Adishesha as his resting place. Adishesha also called Ananta. Bhujanga Shayanam means the one who has Adishesha as his resting abode. Adishesha, okay, who is the resting abode of it. Padmanabham, that is Vishnu, who from his nabhi or from his navel has a stalk over which Kamala or a lotus is blooming. Lotus is blooming. And in that lotus, we find that Lord Brahma as Srishti Karaka is sitting there. From the Nabhi of Vishnu, Lord Brahma, the very Srishti Karaka of the Kalpa, is supposed to be born. That is what is said in the Puranas. So Padmanabham, that is the one from whose navel the lotus blooms. Suresham, the Lord of all Devatas. Sura Isha. Sura means all the Devatas. The one who's the Lord of all the Devatas. Vishwadharam. See, Vishwadharam means what? The one who is the Adhishtanam, the Adharam, the support of this entire universe. That means what? In Lord Vishnu, the whole world arises, the whole world exists, and the whole world ultimately gets resolved. Jagat Srishti Sthiti Layakaraka is Lord Vishnu. In the form of Lord Brahma, arising from Vishnu's Nabhi, the Srishti takes place. Lord Vishnu himself, with Sattva Guna Pradhana Maya under his control, becomes the Sthiti Karaka of the entire universe. And the very Lord Vishnu, in the form of Rudra, manifests in the form of the one who into whom the whole universe goes back or resolves into. So here, Vishwadharam, Vishwasya Adharaha, that is what the very support of the universe, the creator of the universe, the sustainer of the universe, and also the resolver of the universe. Vishwasya Karta Bhuvanasya Bhokta. We saw that where? Last time in the Kaivalyopanishad we saw Vishwasya Karta Bhuvanasya Gupta. There it is talked for Lord Brahma, but still that is applicable to Lord Vishnu also. So Vishwadharam, Gagana Sadrisham, very, very subtle. See, these are talking about Vishnu's Swarupa Lakshanams. Here, Shantakaram, Bhujagashayanam, Padmanabham, Suresham are talking about the physical aspects of Lord Vishnu in the Dhyana Shloka. So that it is giving me a sense of an alambanam where I see that figure of Lord Vishnu. Immediately, the Shloka, Dhyana Shloka, talks about the very nature of this Lord Vishnu. What is the nature? Vishwadharam. He is not one Vishnu lying on the, on the resting place of Adishesha, but it is this Vishnu who is all pervasive Brahman. All pervasive Brahman. As the very Jagat Adhishtanam Vishwadharam, Gagana Sadrisham, like space, this Swarupam of this Vishnu, though we have imagined a form for this Lord Vishnu, in his essential nature, he is the very support of this entire universe, subtlest of the subtle, Anoraniyan, Mahato Mahiyan. We saw in Kaivalya Upanishad last time. Anoraniyan, the subtlest of the subtle, like space, Gagana Sadrisham, because of which Lord Vishnu, all pervasive. Brahma Lakshanam. Vishnu is represented here as with Brahma Lakshanam also, and as a particular Lakshanas of manifest form also. So the manifest form Lakshanas are Shantakaram, Bhujaganainam, Padmanabham, Suresham. But then Vishwadharam, Gagana Sadrisham, then again back to his physical attributes, Meghavarnam Shubhangam, the color of the clouds, the dark colored body. Shubhangam. Shubhangam means what? He has all his angas are auspicious. All his limbs are very auspicious. Then Lakshmi Kantam Kamalanayanam. Again, the physical aspects are coming here. The physical aspects of Lord Vishnu, which I am going to focus upon, to hold on to log on to my Sahasranama chanting. Lakshmi Kantam, the one who is the consort of Lakshmi. Shripati, Shri. Lakshmi is Shri. That's why we saw in Bhagavan Samagra Shri. That is one of the Bhagas. Lord Vishnu has all the resources, and all the resources are represented by Lakshmi, Lakshmi Kantam, the consort of Lakshmi, Kamala Nayanam, the one who has beautiful lotus-like eyes, Yogi Hrid Dhyana Gamyam, and the one who is attained through meditation, Dhyana Gamyam, Yogi Bihi, the meditators, those who meditate upon Lord Vishnu, in their hearts they see Lord Vishnu as nothing but their own Sakshi Chaitanya Atma. So Yogi Bihi, Yogi Hrid Dhyana Gamyam. The yogis, the worshippers, the mumukshus, the chanters, worshippers of Lord Vishnu, they avail of this Vishnu through dhyanam, through meditation in their own hearts. And such a Vishnu, such a Lord Vishnu, Vande Vishnu. And who is this Lord? When I surrender to that Lord, and when I worship this Lord by chanting the names, 1,000 names of the Lord, what happens? Bhava Bhaya Haram. Lord Vishnu is capable of removing Bhava Bhaya Haram, the pain of samsara. Ultimately, it means what? Bhava Bhaya means the samsara is completely removed. The fear of samsara is removed. Abhayam param vindate, Kathopanishad said, and here Bhava Bhaya Haram, whom? Even for the meditator, the chanter also, the surrender to Lord Vishnu itself gives this person the strength to face samsara. But the very Vishnu Sahasranama, which is a stepping stone to moksha, ultimately in moksha, all the fear of samsara is totally and forever gone. So the benefits are for both the worshipper as well as for a jnani. A yogi, a jnana yogi also ultimately benefits. The very moksha itself, which has been made possible by this Sahasranama. And even if I am not a Mukta Purusha, as a worshipper, like that's why, a Vedanta guru used to say, allow Ishvara in your life. When I surrender to this Lord Vishnu as everything, then I have no fear of anything because I see Lord Vishnu in everything around me. Anything that happens, I see it as Lord or Ishvaras, or now that I am taking Lord Vishnu as my Upasana Devata, I see Lord Vishnu as everything. I see Lord Vishnu in everything. I see everything as Lord Vishnu. So that surrender and that capacity to see everything as nothing but my, Upasya Devata, Vishnu, is going to, even if I'm not a jnani, it is going to give me a lot of cushioning, a lot of shock absorbing capacity from all the shocks that I get from my daily samsara. Bhavabhayaharam sarvalokaikanaatham. Sarvaloka ekanatham. The one Lord who is the Lord of all the lokas. Sarvalokaikanaatham. All the Lords. So we can take this Shantakaram, and then further also there are other shlokas also which are going to talk about the various attributes of Lord Vishnu, various physical attributes of Lord Vishnu. But since this one Dhyana shloka is what we are absolutely familiar with, we can take this as the Dhyana shloka every time we start the Vishnu Sahasranama Stotra Vichara. So there are some more. Meghashyamam Pita Kausheya Vasam. Then we have Namas Samasta Bhutanam Adibhutaya Bhubrite. Then we have Sashanka Chakram Sakirita Kundalam. Then we have Chayayam Parijatasya. Then we have Chandrananam Chaturbahum. So we have another 5-6 verses. They are nothing but the Dhyana shlokas. And we can choose one of these Dhyana shlokas for our study. And I feel we can take this Shantakaram Bhujagashayanam as one or as the Dhyana shloka to begin to get into this Sahasranama Vichara we can get into. Now, so in conclusion to the Purva Bhaga, what we can say is the Purva Bhaga of the Vishnu Sahasranama, out of the 3 parts that we have, the Purva Bhaga is seriously, all the shlokas are chanted by those who are taking up the Vishnu Sahasranama Stotra as a regular Parayana Vidhi. Those who are taking the Parayana Vidhi and doing the Parayana, yes. But then the Purva Bhaga also introduces the Guru, that is Acharya Bhishma and Shishya Yudhishthira. The Purva Bhaga also in the form of a dialogue between the Guru and Shishya, which is our tradition, talks about the Shishya asking this question to the Guru, Kimekam Daivam, starting from there. What is that one deity by worshipping whom I can be free from samsara? What is that one ultimate goal of every human being? So these questions in two verses, the seventh and eighth verses, which we saw, where Yudhishthira asked these questions, and Acharya Bhishma gives an introduction to what he's going to talk about in the next session. So the Purva Bhaga is serving these purposes. Purva Bhaga also talks about the Nyasam, also a number of Dhyana shlokas to see or to project, or in the mind to project a form which I can hold on to as an alambanam before I start chanting this. So this is the purpose of the Purva Bhaga. And as I told you, we have only taken Yudhishthira's questions. Bhishma's general introduction is what is going to come, and one Dhyana Shloka, which is going to be there for the rest of our sessions. Our sessions are going to start with, this. We'll start with, of course, today I think Shuklambaradharam, and we'll also chant this Shantakaram Bhujagashayana. So now we are going to go to the Sahasra Nama Stotra Vichara. There are 107 stotras in which the 1008 names of Lord Vishnu are divided or described. One thing we have to know is, as I told you, in all these verses, in all these names, we don't find a very certain kind of an order. That may not be there. But then three things are talked about very clearly, distributed. One thing, again and again, the very Swarupam of Lord Vishnu as Ishvara or Brahman is talked about a number of times. Even starting itself, it's going to, the first two words are going to talk about Lord Vishnu as the first two namas are the very manifestation. So the very Swarupam or the very nature of Lord Vishnu as Brahma Swarupam is one thing that is going to be talked about throughout. Then Lord Vishnu or Ishvara as the Jagat Srishti Sthiti Laya Karanam. Srishti Sthiti Laya Karanam of this entire Jagat. That means the whole universe as nothing but the manifestations of Lord Vishnu. Second aspect, second group of names. The third group of names is Lord Vishnu's specific manifestations, physical manifestations, avatara manifestations, various forms of manifestations are going to be talked about. That is the physical part of it. The gunas of Vishnu and the physical appearances of Lord Vishnu are going to be talked about. And these three groups are going to be talked again and again and again in and throughout this 1000 names. And it is said that, it seems, in Krita Yuga, meditation was the means of attaining the highest goal, that is moksha. And then in Treta Yuga, in the second Treta Yuga, it seems various yajnas and yagas started. The various yajnas and yagas were one of the ways of appeasing the various natural deities and natural functionaries and devatas, appeasing them for material as well as for moksha purusharthas. Then it is said in Dwapara Yuga, it was more by worship of the deities. Worship was talked about. And it is said that in Kali Yuga, Nama Sankirtana is the best way of connecting to the Lord. That is why so much of importance is given to Nama Sankirtana. And of course, when Bhishmacharya died in the war, in the Kurukshetra war, it is said that Dwapara Yuga was ending and Kali Yuga was beginning. So it was the Sandhi Kala. It was the Sandhi Kala of the Dwapara Yuga and Kali Yuga. And what was given by Bhishmacharya as Vishnusahasranama was as though meant for all of us in Kali Yuga to attain whatever was attained by Dhyanam in Krita Yuga, by Yajnas in the Treta Yuga and Dwapara Yuga worship, various worships, and then here now Nama Sankirtana. That is why a lot of importance is given to Nama Sankirtana. It is said that mere chanting of the names itself gives a lot of punya. Just chanting individually or together in groups, daily chanting. It is said that daily one should chant Vishnu Sahasranama. One should chant at least Swashakha Upanishad, Swashakha, part of it, Upanishad chanting, Bhagavad Gita, at least one chapter, if not one chapter, at least a few verses every day. Vishnoho Nama Sahasrakam, at least, one Sahasranama, Vishnu Sahasranama, Rudran Purusha Suktam. So it is said that a Vaidika should chant these 5 regularly every day. Doesn't matter. If we cannot chant every day all the 5, it doesn't matter. Vishnu Sahasranama chanting is good enough. It is one of the Pancha Mahayajnas that we are doing in the form of Deva Yajna. In Kali Yuga, our karma is what? What is our Nitya Naimitika karma? Pancha Mahayajnas. Deva Yajna, Pitru Yajna, Rishi Yajna, okay, Bhuta Yajna, Manushya Yajna, the Pancha Mahayajnas. Rishi Yajna is also called Brahma Yajna. And what is our Deva Yajna that we can do? Offering our gratitude to the Devas, to the functionaries who are giving us light, who are giving us rains, who are giving us the whole environment which is, sufficient enough for us to survive. So it is our way of giving our thanks in the form of Deva Yajna. And Vishnu Sahasranama is considered to be any Sahasranama for that matter. Any Sahasranama. Because any Sahasranama ultimately through a particular form reaches the same, connects me to the same Ishvara or Brahman. Since the context here is Vishnu Sahasranama, we are saying that Vishnu Sahasranama chanting is very, very auspicious. Bhutaye, he said, for all kinds of prosperity. I want material prosperity, no problem. I take a sankalpa for material prosperity and do the Vishnu Sahasranamam, I will get it. If I make a sankalpa that through this ultimate goal of moksha I have to attain, that will also come. So all kinds of vibhutis. So what are we doing in Vishnu Sahasranama? We are connecting to one Ishvara in 1,000 ways. In 1,000 names, through 1,000 names, in 1,000 ways, we are connecting to the same Lord. And we see that one Lord or one Ishvara is ultimately everything. We see the whole universe as nothing but that Lord. We see the vibhutis of the whole universe as nothing but that Lord. Everything that exists here is nothing but that Lord. And this widened intellectual capacity to see the whole universe gives rise to the phalam of understanding the ultimate truth that this Vishnu that I am worshipping is nothing other than Brahma Swarupa. And then I see no difference between me and the Lord Vishnu, as Lord Vishnu is Brahma Swarupa, Ishvara. I, the Jiva, is also Brahma Swarupa, the Jiva, Ishvara. Aikyam ultimately I see in this. This is the purpose of our Vichara. And when we are chanting for Parayana, every name is chanted separately. Okay? Then Om Vishnave Namaha, Om, like that. We are chanting. Like we sometimes Ashtotara and all at the time of our puja, we chant. So every name Om and Namaha, Om and Namaha, we do that. But also, it can be chanted in the verse form. In the verse form, where in the Anushtup Chandas, the verses are there which are talking about Lord Vishnu's 1,000 names, which are grouped into these three groups, which I already talked about. So, let us get into the very first verse out of the 107 verses of this Stotra Vibhaga, Namavali Vibhaga. We will go to the first verse. Om Vishvam Vishnuvashatkaro Bhuta Bhavya Bhavat Prabhu भूतकृद्भूतभृद्भावो भूतात्मा भूतभावनः. So all our activities, whether they are Vaidika karmas or our Laukika karmas, we always start any activity with the most auspicious symbol Om. So here also Om. Om is the one which we start with. And Om has many, many meanings. Here, Om means, may the Lord protect us. Okay? May the Lord protect us in such a way that we are going to be able to complete this study that we have taken up. Om is also the name of the Lord itself. Om is also the name given to Brahman. There is an Upanishad called as Mandukya Upanishad, where Omkara is talked about from the point of view of the Avasthatraya Vichara, which I have already talked about. And ultimately, Om is said to be the Abhidhanam, or the name given to the Lord Brahman, to Brahman. Also, Om is the Abhidhanam, or the name given to this entire universe. And Om has a special value or meaning in our scriptures, because it is said that when Brahma, Chaturmukha Brahma, who came out of the Nabhi of Vishnu on a lotus flower, started the creation of this universe. Srishti, when Brahma started, Chaturmukha Brahma, Prajapati Brahma started, two words came out of his mouth, or two words came out of his throat. Kantam Bhitva, that is, the words broke out of his throat. Om Ataha. Om, auspicious. Ataha. Now, from now on, I will start the process of creating this universe. The creation will start. Om, auspicious job of creating this universe will start now. Hereafter, Ataha, hereafter, it will start now. Okay? Om Atha. Om Atha means from now, everything will, whatever is the auspicious thing will start. So Om happens to be a very, very auspicious symbol. Of course, we can discuss a lot about Omkara. Like, what are the three divisions? It's a sound symbol, we know that. We have already studied that in Kathopanishad as Omkara Upasana, Omkara Vichara. Many Upanishads talk about Omkara Upasana also, where an Upasana is done on Omkara, again for the sake of Chitta Shuddhi, Chitta Neshchalam. Upanishads like Mandukya Upanishad talk about Omkara as Brahma Vichara, Avasthatraya Vichara. So many. Omkara has a lot of meaning, and phonetic grammatical implications. But now, this is not actually the context where we are going to talk in detail about Omkara. So let us go to the Om is not the first Nama. Om is only the beginning. Om. We started with that. What is the first name? Vishwam. Vishwam means what? The whole universe. Vishwam. See, when I'm awake, I see the whole universe, physical universe, what is called as the Sthula Prapancha. And I, the Sthula Shariram, interact with the Sthula Prapancha outside, and all my Vyavahara goes on there. So Vishwam means this Lord Vishnu who manifests as the entire universe. And as I told you, the explanation of the Sahasranama is based on Bhagwan Shankaracharya's Bhashya. Therefore, in every word, I'm going to give one small sentence of the Bhashyam so that you understand what the Bhashya means. Jagataha Karanatvena Vishwam. As Jagat Karanam, as the manifestation of the entire universe. Okay, this Lord Vishnu, being the very Karanam of this Jagat, manifested himself as nothing but this Jagat itself. So Vishwam means the one, this Lord Vishnu, who is none other than who has manifested as this entire universe. So Vishwam means it is a name of the Lord. Okay. So it is said that what is the meaning of Vishwam here? Okay. Vishwa, we say as the Jagrat Jiva also is called as Vishwa. The Jagrat Jiva, we have already talked about it in Vivek Chudamani, we have talked about it in Kaivalya Upanishad. And the manifest Jagat in the Jagrat Avastha is also called as Vishwam itself. And this Vishwam is what? Thousands of names and forms, millions of names and forms. And the names and forms are nothing but those that are projected on this Lord Vishnu. So we can say the one who manifests in the form of this entire manifest and unmanifest universe. The manifest universe is there, but there is an unmanifest universe yet to manifest. All that is nothing but Lord Vishnu himself. Jagataha Karanatvena Vishwam iti uchyate, Bhagwan Shankaracharya says. So this is what is said. In all the Upanishads also we have seen that in the three Upanishads that we have talked about so far, that is the Mundakopanishad, Kathopanishad, Kaivalya Upanishad, we have seen that this Brahman or Ishvara manifesting as the entire universe. Okay. Then we take the second name, Vishwam, Vishnuhu. Okay. Vishnuhu. What is the meaning of Vishnu? The one which pervades everything. The one who pervades everything. Vyapnoti iti Vishnuhu. Veveshti Vyapnoti iti Vishnu. That means what? The one who is present in everything in this universe. All pervading. Bhai Jagat Karanatva. Because Lord Vishnu is the Jagat Karana, because he is the very cause of the entire universe. The universe is the effect, Lord Vishnu or Ishvara is the cause. Therefore, what is Vishwam? It is just a name and form for this Vishnu, all pervasive. Vyapnoti sarvam iti Vishnu. That which there everywhere, which pervades everywhere, Karanatvena. For example, let us see. There is this sari here, isn't it? What is this sari? It is nothing but a fabric with a name and form. Correct? This sari is nothing but a fabric with a name and form. The very karanam of this sari is the fabric. Correct? So, what is karyam, sari? It is the fabric with a name and form. Correct? It is the fabric, the karanam. The karanam of this sari is the fabric. Therefore, the fabric is all pervasive throughout the sari. Throughout this sari, the fabric is pervading. Correct? What is this? What is this blouse? This blouse is what? Fabric. Fabric with a name and form called as blouse. Correct? And in this blouse, the fabric is everywhere. Sarvam Vyapnoti. There is not a place where there is no fabric in these two clothes that I am wearing. Similarly, Sarvam Vyapnoti iti Vishnuhu, the one who pervades everything. That means what? Vishnu being the Karanam, the Jagat, all Karyas are nothing but it is pervaded by this Karanam. Okay, then when something as Karanam is pervading the Karyam, it also means that it is not. Now let us forget this fabric that I have said. Now let us come to Ishvara as the cause of this entire universe. So, Ishvara as the cause of the universe was there even before the universe came into existence. Ishvara as the cause existed in and through in the presence of the universe. And as the cause, Ishvara or Vishnu will be present even after the Jagat is resolved. Therefore, Vishnu also means Desha, Kala, Vastu, Aparichinna. Not limited. Vishnu also means not limited by space, not limited by time, not limited by any object. Therefore, Vishnu, Lord Vishnu or Ishvara, Sarvam Vyapnoti. That means what? This Ishvara is Nityam, Sarvagatam. Okay? All the time there. Before the Jagat, Ishvara was there. After the Jagat appeared, creation, throughout in the creation is there. As Brahman, as the very Karanam. And after the resolution also what remains is Lord Vishnu or Ishvara. Therefore, when you say Vishnu, all pervasive, which means Sarvam Vyapnoti and Desha, Kala, Aparichinnaha, not limited by space or time, timeless, spaceless. Time and space arise in Ishvara. Time and space exist in Ishvara. Time and space resolve in Ishvara. The third name, Vashatkaraha. Vashatkaraha means that deity or that Vishnu in the form of various devatas is attained through offering of havis by using certain words. When we are offering the havis in a yajna, we say swaha, indraya swaha, idam na mama. Sometimes the word vashat also is used when you are offering something to a deity. So, vashatkara means this is the deity which is offered the havis through vashatkara. Vashatkara also means a deity, also a devata. Vashatkara means a devata also. That is a particular devata also is there in the name of Vashatkara. But Vashatkara generally means that Vishnu who's attained through or by offering whatever I'm offering into the yajna by using that word Vashat. Okay. Then it says, fourth nama, Bhuta Bhavya Bhavat Prabhu. That means what? The Lord of the past, Bhuta, okay, future Bhavya, and also Bhavat, that means present. The Lord of the past, the future, and the present. We can say the Lord of the past, present, and future. What is the meaning of this? It means Ishvara is timeless. Ishvara was the past also. Ishvara is the present also. Ishvara is going to be the future also. Why? The very isness the past was, the very wasness of the past, the present is, the very isness of the present, will be the isness of the future, is nothing but this Lord Vishnu. So who is Vishnu here? Bhuta Bhavya Bhavat Prabhu, the Lord of all three times which we talked about. From the point of view of the human mind, we talk about the past, present, and the future. But ultimately, time is a continuum. Really speaking, time cannot be divided like that because it is one whole. But for the human mind, it is not possible to think of time without division. So, that which I have experienced earlier, I group it under the past. What I am going through now, I group it under present. And then what is yet to come, I take it as the future. But if you really look at it, when I'm thinking of the past, I'm thinking of the past in the present only. Isn't it? Now I'm thinking of 10 years ago, this happened. Where am I thinking of this 10 years ago? Now in the present. What will happen to me 10 years ahead? What will happen to my children when I am dead? Most common doubt and most common cause for depression among all people now. Many people. What will happen to my children when I am no more? I'm thinking of the future now. So, where is the past? Now, in the present. Where is the future? Now, in the present. So, what is the past, present, and future? Nothing but now. And who is this Lord? Bhuta Bhavya Bhavat Prabhu. Timeless. Lord is Nitya. Kala Aparichinna. Timeless. Shashvataha Puranaha. We saw that in Bhagavad Gita. Ajo Nityaha Shashvatoyam Purana. That is what this is. Bhuta Bhavya Bhavat Prabhu. Not limited by time. The one who is the master of all the three periods of time. The three periods of time from the point of view of the thinking of this brain. That's all. Otherwise, there is nothing called as the past, nothing called as present, nothing called as future. It is one whole time. And the very adhishtanam of that time is nothing but Ishvara or Vishnu. So, Bhuta Bhavya Bhavat Prabhu. Then, just one name we'll take, Bhutakrit, the creator of all the beings. Bhuta can mean the living beings. Bhuta can also mean the Pancha Bhutas also. I think we are exceeding the time. So we'll take up the Vichara. You'll see that all that we studied in Vedanta all these years, that's going to be described in Vishnusahasranama. Om Nandantu Sadhaka Sarve Vinashyantu Vidushakaha Avastha Shambhavi Mestu Prasannostu Guru Sada Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaha Sarve Santu Niramayaha Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kashchid Dukkham Apnuyat. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Tat Sat.